part of the test review for this second quadratics unit. I'm going to go through and I'm going to try and identify some types of questions that you're going to get on your test and how you would go about solving them. So for the review assignment, this would be a helpful thing to go through. And so if we're going to review the equations, all three of these equations, they represent the same quadratic relationship. If you were to graph all three of those equations, you would get the exact same graph. Okay, so we're going to use those equations to identify the key features that are listed below. So let's go through and identify what our three equations are. So this is actually in factored form. The middle one is in standard form. And on the right here, we have vertex form. And as I mentioned, you can find most of the information that you need out of vertex form. And the reason you can do that is what I always suggest that people do is they identify their A, H, K values. So our A value is positive 2, our H value is positive 5, and our K value is negative 8. So what's the vertex? Well, the vertex is always, again, it's the HK value. So for us, it happens to be 5, negative 8. The y-intercept, we can get the y-intercept from, not from the vertex form. The zeros we can't get from vertex form, but the equation of the axis of symmetry, that's when x is equal to h. Well, we know that the h equation, or the h value is 5, so when x is equal to positive 5. The optimum value, that's equal to the k value, so the optimum value is negative 8. Does the optimum value, is it a minimum or a maximum? Well, we know that the a value is positive, so therefore it must be a minimum. Okay. The direction of opening is up. Again, we can get that from the a value. And the step pattern is equal to the a value. So the step pattern is actually 2. Now we can figure out the y-intercept based on the standard form of the equation. The y-intercept is equal to the c value, and the c value is always the coefficient that's in the standard form. So in this case, it happens to be positive 42. And then lastly, we can figure out what the zeros are because we can get those from factored form. And so here, we can figure out what values of x make each of those two binomials equal to 0. So one of those values is going to be positive 3, and the other one is going to be positive 7. Okay, so by going through that, you can determine a number of different pieces just based solely upon the information that's given to you in the three forms of the parabola.